Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a follow-up video since you guys really loved the live that I posted a couple of days ago about the new Netflix TV show Too Hot to Handle. I've watched a couple more episodes, still have not finished the season. I will be doing that tonight, so look out for 5 to 8 review on Wednesday or sometime later this week. But I feel like I've gathered enough intel on all of the castmates on the show for me to give you a pretty well-rounded review of what I think about the show. Hopefully you guys will drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think, what your thoughts are on all the newly developing relationships, on all the people in the show. And let's jump right into my thoughts on all the cast members on Too Hot to Handle, the new Netflix TV show. All of the cast members have come onto the show based on the fact that they have been serial daters. They swipe left continuously on all dating apps. They pretty much just put themselves out there to have sex with people and not actually develop genuine relationships. And so they've all been put on this show so that they can learn how to really connect with people without our physical relationships being at the forefront of their relationships, which I think is an awesome idea. It's a great and new and different kind of feel for a reality show like this, because I feel like with reality shows we really look forward to who's going to connect with who's going to hook up with who, how the drama is going to unfold. So I think it's really different that they're kind of marketing the show in such a way that is taking out an element that I feel like a lot of us are looking forward to when we see these shows. Even if we're judgmental of the people, we really want to see who's going to hook up with who's going to be loving on who on day one, 3 hours in. It's a reality TV show. Of course, there's been a lot of hookups in terms of connections, people who are physically attracted to each other. And so I'm just here to give you the rundown, give you the tea on what I think. Let's start out with Haley, because this girl does not seem like she can't come on the show at all to have any type of relationship. I think she might secretly be in love with Francesca, if I'm just being honest. But she's really just come on the show to be a hater, and I don't understand why she's still there. She literally sat there and said, I hope that they vote me out because I'm over it. I'm over the people. Like, why did you come on the show? Was it just for a good time? Like, because she didn't really seem all that excited in the beginning, and now that I'm about 5 episodes in, she still doesn't really seem all that intrigued in the show. My question is, sister, why are you here? I don't get it. Now let's kind of flip the script and kind of talk a little bit about Francesca. Obviously, she has this romance budding with Harry from day one. They were the first ones to break the rules. They kissed on the beach. He lied and said that she kissed him. I feel like at the end of the day it wouldn't have really mattered who kissed who, but the fact that he lied about it and put their information out there when he could have just said they kissed, like, you didn't have to say who did what to who. We kissed, whatever, and just let the house react how they wanted to. I feel like it would have gone better for him instead of lying, and now she feels like she can't trust him, which I still don't think that she can. I feel like if they are to take this relationship into the real world, she still will not be able to trust him, because if you're lying about something so simple, so basic, why would you not lie about bigger issues in life? So he's a liar, and that's really all I have to say about that. I feel like Francesca kind of took it overboard when she and Haley decided that they were going to plot and scheme and lose $3,000 for everybody from the pot. So my live, I kept on saying $10,000. It's actually $100,000 as the cash prize. They plot and scheme, decided to make out with each other and lose the house money. Now I don't know why the house just didn't ask from the get-go who kissed who. Like, I'm not sitting there to let you tell me, because obviously you did something that you knew you shouldn't have been doing. So I would have just asked Lana from the get-go who kissed who, and then we can solve all the other stuff later. Like, I'm not about to sit here and look stupid, everybody sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Haley and Francesca are sitting there like, wow, and they really tried to blame Sharon and Rhonda just because they got up and snuck away in the middle of the night. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, it was you. What are you doing? I feel like they may have pushed it a little bit more. They remained quiet instead of putting themselves out there and asking so much questions and being accusatory towards Sharon and Rhonda. And I feel like they would have probably been a little bit more under the radar, because as you saw, and Matthew, who they call Jesus, which I hate that, but anyhow, he felt like something was off from the get-go, and I can't blame him, because they were acting real shady, real shifty. Like, Francesca needs to grow up. I feel like Harry also needs to grow up. They're young, and when I read their ages, it made sense why they were acting the way that they were acting at certain points. Let's move on to talking about Matthew, actually, since we brought him up. I feel like he doesn't really have a match on the show. I think that perhaps there could be a connection between Matthew and Nicole if they allow themselves to kind of get to that place. I feel like Matthew is very like zen and like very grounded, and Nicole seems like the type of girl who loves partying, loves a good time, and they would kind of balance each other, if that makes sense. But I don't know, like, so far they've really only focused on the love triangle that is David, Sharon, and Rhonda, which we'll get into. They focused obviously on Harry and Francesca, but aside from that, like, there hasn't really been like strong budding relationships. I feel like with the really skinny model girl, what's her name? With Chloe and the new guy that came in, the guy that lives on a boat. Honestly, I'm not sure if he's rich or if he's homeless. I think that it's cool for him to just be sleeping with girls, and he talked about it openly, like, girls, like, I just sleep with them every day. It's like when I walk in and there's a buffet of different women, blah 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 blah, all these women are beautiful. And in my heart I was thinking, but you are not good looking at all. Like, he wasn't giving me anything. Like, everyone else in the show I feel like is pretty relatively good looking. He was not good looking at all to me. I don't know, maybe some girls are on here and they see the money and they think, okay, well, the money makes him look good, but him as a person, I'm not really sure I'm feeling his vibe. For some reason, Chloe really likes him. I can't understand why Chloe didn't go for someone more like David. I feel like this is going to be a consistent thing for me throughout the whole series. David is probably my favorite person on the show. I feel like outside of the show, maybe he was a jerk. I don't know. I didn't follow him up on any of his social media, but he did say he got around, so there's that. But I feel like in the context of the show, he's growing and he's learning so fast. I feel like he was very genuine with Chloe. I feel like he was very genuine with Rhonda, and it just hasn't happened for him yet, and I don't understand why. Like, I feel like he's not a bad looking guy. He seems to be very open and very ready to have a genuine relationship. He seems very emotionally mature and stable, and just really in touch with himself and able to separate sex and having genuine relationship, which I think is what the show is really, really about. So it's confusing to me as to why he hasn't really connected with anyone. Anyways, let's talk about Kel's and his kind of fling with Francesca, because we didn't really mention him, but I feel like he thinks very highly of himself, and unfortunately, even 5 episodes in, I still don't really have a grasp on his personality type. He seems very dry. It seems like if I were to sit and have a conversation with him, I would be more entertained by talking to wallpaper. I don't know if it's just because the way that they're shooting it and editing it, they're not really giving his character a chance to shine, but so far he just seems dry to me. I will say that I'm very proud of the fact that when he got in that hot tub and old girl Francesca was really trying to draw him out, he put the foot down and he said, no, we're not about to be in this hot tub and lose $3,000 because I am the accountant. And I'm glad that he held himself accountable. When you think about it in the grand scheme, it's really only a month. Like, interesting. I'm glad that Francesca kind of came to the realization that she didn't really like him. I wish that she would have said that to him instead of just kind of leading him to think that, you know, interested in him when really she wasn't. By the end of episode 5, she kind of made it clear to Harry, you know, this is where I'm at. I really like you. I don't want to talk to anyone else in this house except for you. He was very open and receptive, and I feel like the point that they reached in that conversation was good. I feel like that showed a lot of maturity, because people have a hard time really expressing themselves and having deep and meaningful conversations about how they're feeling about you're hurt by something. Sometimes, especially at the beginning of a relationship, it's harder to vocalize those things. So I'm glad that they said, hey, like, I felt a way when you did this, or I felt a way when you did that, like, and they got that out of the way. And if they keep on working and building in that way, I feel like they could potentially have a good relationship outside of this house. Let's move on to the most troublesome love triangle that I've ever seen on TV that completely blows my mind, and I feel like duplicates a lot of real life scenarios between men and women and love triangles and that sort of a thing. And that would be with Rhonda, David, and Sharon. So Rhonda and David actually connected. He didn't kiss her. To me, I felt like he was very respectful of her space. Apparently, she was a little bit more into Sharon groping her and like just loving her down in those initial interactions that they had. Who am I to say what's appropriate and what's not appropriate for somebody? And I don't know if it's because, I don't want to say that she's insecure, because I don't think she is. I think she's very self-aware, but I feel like maybe she doesn't value herself and who she is and what she has to offer high enough, because I feel like with Sharon, from the get-go, he just saw her as sex. Like literally, the narrator on the show gives me so much jokes. Like, she's hilarious, but literally he sat there and all he could say about this girl was that, oh, she's sexy, her body's this, that, and the third. Do you know her last name? Do you know where she lives? Like, do you know anything about her? Oh, I don't know if I can hold it in this long. I don't know if I can go without sex for this long, blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't know this girl. And I feel like the fact that he was damaged and hurt in his past is what he uses as an excuse to just sleep with girls and just move on. I feel like this love triangle kind of points to the fact that men will oftentimes not know what they have until someone else wants it. I think that David and Rhonda had a great connection. When I saw how emotional he got in those initial stages when they were doing that one-on-one exercise and they had to look at each other directly and like really connect with one another, like a soul connection, you could see that there was something there. I feel like it was so big of David to step aside to somebody that he actually initially connected with, he actually initially saw and wanted to pursue, to step aside for some short man to swoop in who has so much baggage, who is not ready to love, not ready to be open. And this girl Rhonda really has to put in a lot of work for it to go anywhere. And honestly, I can't say that I feel like their relationship will work outside of this house. That's just me looking from the outside in, how long ago this was filmed. But it just seems very like, again, something that I brought up in one of my 2 a.m. love conversations, that black women have this tendency to feel like they have to put in so much work in order for them to get a love that they deserve. Why is it that she feels like she has to force him to be open with her in order for the relationship to take off? Why is it that she has to beg and plead for him to be open with what he carried with him before coming into the house? Why is it that he feels like he can look at her and say, I was hurt by my ex who ended up sleeping with and dating my best friend, and that just really scarred me, and from then on, like, I just vowed that I wasn't going to open myself up to anyone. Okay, that's great, but you realize that that's not healthy, 1, and 2, you're not going to get into a relationship with that baggage, and 3, you don't need to be in a relationship with someone and have them sit around and wait for you while you work that out. That's something that I feel like you as an individual need to pinpoint and work on as a single person. You don't need to be dragging somebody in to your drama in order for you to start to flourish and really get to a space that you're mentally prepared and ready to date someone who is a good person. Like, Rhonda seems like a really stand-up girl, and it's just unfortunate that she feels like the best option that she has is to sit around and wait for Sharon to pull his act together. I don't know if it's just because she feels more attracted to Sharon, and that could just be it, or she just is apprehensive about David. I mean, off rip, he's white. I'm not gonna say she would not date a white guy, but oftentimes black women, we have this thing, and let me not speak for everybody, but we have this thing where we're just so consumed with what everyone else is gonna think on the outside about who we're dating, that they could be a great person on paper and in conversation and just like as a life partner. Clearly David is very mature, very open, ready to connect with her. The man said, when I was standing there looking into your eyes, I didn't even see your body disappeared and I just saw you. Who says that? You met this girl 3 days ago? Come on now. Like, to me, I would be picking a man who seems emotionally mature enough to tap into who I am, as opposed to just seeing me as a piece of meat, as someone that he could sleep with, as someone that needs to stick around as he works through his problems. Rhonda, sis, honey, if you're watching this, you deserve better. I mean, it's her decision at the end of the day, so hopefully it works out for her. Don't know how things pan out in the next couple episodes. I guess when I watch them, I will see. But yeah, that's pretty much all my updates for the first couple of episodes. Hopefully this was informative. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I know this was a longer video, but I had a lot to say. Like, this show is actually really bringing out some really deep-seated conversations. And you know I love to talk about love. If you don't know, I do have a 2 a.m. love conversations, which I have weekdays at 2 p.m. Stay tuned. Probably this Thursday will be a new episode, and I will have a special guest. So I hope you guys will join me then. And until then, I will see you guys in my next upload. Bye, guys.
Oh,